Hi y'all, so we came to Omaha the day after the snowstorm, thankfully, so there was some leftover snow piled up along the roads. For lunch we came to Blues and Fly, which is a Chinese restaurant. We would normally Google or search on Reddit for locals' recommendations for Asian food, and this was one of them. And somehow we missed having oily fried rice with wok, so we ordered that, and we also got sweet and sour pork. We also ordered a small bowl of spicy and sour soup, and it comes with fried wonton skin, but honestly the food is pretty decent. It's not really the best. And what's funny is that they have this sign right outside their restaurant that says if they overslept they will open the shop later at 12, or if there's a pretty girl they will not close the shop at all, or if it's all men then they will close early. I thought it was pretty lame. We also visited the old market, which is kind of like a huge area with shops and restaurants, and we didn't really have anything in particular that we wanted to see, so we were just like walking around the area. I remembered someone talking about this place called Hollywood Candy, where it's like one of the largest candy stall. It's kind of like Candy Empire, but they sell a lot of old school candies, which was really cool. It looks small on the outside, but it was a huge maze inside. We then came to Ted and Wally's ice cream place because the exterior looked cool and not really because we needed ice cream in this cold weather. And after ordering, we noticed a lot of people after us, so we thought this place was a pretty popular place. But honestly, I can't remember what we ordered and it was very meh. It's not thick like gelato, it's pretty icy. Near the area, there is also this riverfront park to walk along. It's so nice and so quiet, and they even have a skate park and also a skates rental place. Omaha is well known for the best zoo in America, so we had to visit. A lot of people talk about visiting this desert dome, which really reminded us of this flower dome that we have. So the people here were quite orderly. We had to line up and walk in sequence to view the animal. I think it's just in this desert dome, like other parts of the zoo, you don't have to line up. The animals and the plants here were all like desert theme related, of course. The first animal that we saw was this bat-eared fox, and the reason why they have such huge ears is so that they can locate their favorite prey, which is termites. It was quite hard to film the other animals because they were all caged up in this netting and my phone just will not focus. And this place has like literal thorns hanging above us without any safety measures at all. And we also saw this monitor lizard with a missing feet, so poor thing. There were two animals in this enclosure, but I really wanted to see the ocelot the most because I have that pet in Adopt Me, which is a Roblox game that I'm playing, but all I can see is just my siblings over here, so where's my ocelot? Where is it? The cool part about this zoo is that they have this enclosure where it's totally dark with only red light around, and honestly it made me feel a bit suffocated and dizzy. Not sure is it because I have night blindness. And we also managed to see some gorillas up close, like this one sunbathing and this cute little sassy gorilla. It's a male gorilla, by the way. Since we have already paid money, we should experience everything in the zoo. So I grew a pair of balls and decided to head into this butterfly enclosure. And if you know me, I'm extremely terrified of insects. So for me to step foot here is actually quite unthinkable. I was actually expecting to see more colorful butterflies, but I only spotted black butterflies, like black and red, black and blue, black and yellow, black and white, black and black. And when this one started flying around, I think I died inside. Luckily, the insects are caged up. They are very gross, but actually very interesting to look at if you know what I mean. I do like looking at insects, but only when they are caged up, and I find like the leaf insect or like the stick insect actually pretty cool to observe. And there's also an aquarium in this zoo, but the fishes were all very similar, so I didn't really feel much here. We had our late lunch at another Asian restaurant called Dumpling Empire. It's also one of the recommended ones on Reddit, so I got the beef noodle soup because I wanted something soupy, and people also talked about their xiao long bao and pan-fried buns, but honestly the food was really very average. The pan-fried buns were not crispy and it was so dry I had to soak it in my soup. We then walked around the area and we saw that there was a National Park Visitor Center. It was a Lewis and Clark National Historic Trail, but we were just at one end of the trail. And this trail is also near the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge you see here. So we just went into the National Park Visitor Center to buy magnet, even though we didn't actually walk the trail, but we just wanted to collect magnets. And to increase tourism and draw more people to the Bob Carey Bridge, they introduced Oma the Troll, which is this blue-looking gnome thingy, but it's just for you to take a photo and that's it. Omaha is a really small town, so there wasn't much that we wanted to do there, so we went back to the old market because this restaurant called Plank had $1 oyster for happy hour. So we got 18 oysters to share. We had like 2 extremely small skinny oysters, but the rest were okay. And I also liked that there weren't any sand in our oysters at all. And then right outside the ice cream shop that we were yesterday, there was a booth selling Girl Scout cookies, and they were like $6 each, so we got the standard thin mints and this cinnamon cookie. For breakfast, we came to Crescent Moon, which is well known for their Reuben sandwich, which is like corned beef biscuit sandwich, and it's apparently voted as Omaha's best Reuben sandwich. It has like sauerkraut in it, and I thought the corned beef was something that we would eat in Singapore, but it tasted nothing like that. And apparently I'm not a fan of sauerkraut or pickles because it made the sandwich very sour. We then drove about 2.5 hours to Kansas City, and somehow the drive made us hungry again. Literally, we just eat, poop, and sleep this entire trip. So we visited Choson Korean Barbecue, which was recommended on Reddit. They had panchans, which was good. They had variety of it, and my husband also ordered pibing naengmyeon, which is this spicy cold dish with springy noodles. And I wanted something soupy, so I got myself a beef dumpling soup. It's quite salty, but I think it's okay. It's funny how we are always looking out for Asian things in America. So we came to this 888 supermarket that sells Asian stuff. It's similar to the Birmingham supermarket that we always visit. There's a lot of Chinese product. And I've been looking for mung beans so that I can make tau suan. I couldn't find it anywhere else. And the interesting thing about this supermarket is that there's pi pa gao. And this is the first time we see Asian supermarket with pi pa gao. So we definitely bought it. And we also needed more chicken curry because when we host friends, this is like the easiest to make, and our foreign friends seem to really enjoy eating curry chicken as well. Kind of like a crop jacket and a cardigan. And he got socks and underwear.
$7 only.
$7 socks.
For 3 pair.
We got the Dutch Bro coffee.
Yeah, classic.
Let's try. We were lazy to travel for food, so we had Chipotle for dinner. I don't really eat Mexican food often, but I really like Chipotle with their chips. It's a bit like ordering Subway, where you get to choose your base like rice, and then your protein, and then your vegetables. We visited Kansas City Union Station. This building is not only a popular tourist destination with like restaurants and exhibits, but I believe it's still a functional train depot. And this place also has Science Center for Kids, Guinness World Records, escape room, and quite a few things to do here. There might even be a movie theater if I'm not wrong. And right outside the Union Station was a free city train. This train was really clean and seems quite new. It brings you to like popular places like the Kansas Library and the city market. So we dropped off at their historic city market to see what they have, and because we came on a weekday, a lot of shops were not open yet and there wasn't even a lot of people. We went into this candy shop because we heard about saltwater taffy and we just wanted to try what it is. So this place sells a lot of cool candies and old school candies as well, like this green dragon that is made out of jelly beans. There's also like worms and crickets in the toilet bowl. I don't know why they even put it in the toilet bowl, and are these even considered candies? They had a wide selection of taffies to choose from, so my husband chose 3 and I chose the other 3. And because it's salt water, they tasted like salty sweets, but there was one that was sour and it's really nice. It reminds me of like high-chew grape flavor. Kansas City is also well known for their barbecue, so we researched around and seems like Q39 was one of the more popular ones, and they also won a lot of awards, so our expectations were quite high. So we got the pork ribs. The ribs were actually nice, tender and very juicy, but the beef biscuit was a bit too dry for my liking. I also enjoyed the Mexican corn side that we ordered. It was very buttery and sweet. So after lunch we went to downtown to walk around, and I was actually quite surprised to see that there's such a huge shopping district area. I mean, in comparison to Montgomery, ours is really very bare. We stopped by Messenger Coffee for a quick coffee and tea break. As usual, I got my chai latte, but it's nowhere in comparison to the Copenhagen chai latte that I had in Portugal. It tasted very diluted. There really wasn't much for us to do on Monday because everything seemed to be closed on Monday for some reason. So we just went to the huge furniture mall near our hotel, and we are just curious to know what's inside. And honestly, we like looking at furnitures. Even when we are back in Singapore, we would always check out like IKEA, Kasuri, Hip Van. The furnitures here are really made for American houses because our BTO will be too small to fit any of these furnitures. They also have electrical appliances and karaoke system, kind of like Gain City or Courts. I was still so full from all the eating and snacking, so for dinner we just chilled in the hotel and ordered Uber Eats. We just shared like a spaghetti and garlic bread, and then that's it. Today we will be heading to Wichita, which is another city in Kansas. While on our way there, we decided to stop by a national preserve. So we are at this tallgrass prairie, and honestly I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't know what I'm supposed to look at.
Tall grass.
Where's the tall grass?
They are not growing yet.
Is it this one? Is this the tall grass? So the visitor center is closed, but you can come in to get the stamp for your passport, and this is actually for young, like juniors, but we're gonna take it. So we walked past a few trackers and they told us the bison is nearby. Just go straight, turn right, they are nearby the road. Can you see? Can you see what? What's the nearby? Where's the nearby? He has a little goatee. Or is that his chin? Oh, I never knew bison looked like that. Looks so strange.
It's a male bison.
Okay. But the head looks very strange. We had our late lunch at Wasabi Hinkaku. We actually arrived at 2:50 p.m. and the waiter told us to wait like 10 more minutes because they had 10% off all sushi rolls after 3 p.m. So we ordered Sarah roll, which has salmon, mango and avocado, and we also got Stonehenge, which is deep fried roll with crab, shrimp tempura, cream cheese, etc. But I find the cream cheese a bit too gelat. We also decided to get their dessert roll called Sweet Maui. It has strawberries, kiwi, pineapple, cheesecake, Rice Krispies and mango sauce, and this is so unique and surprisingly very good. We came to this old Cowtown museum, which is one of the oldest open-air history museums, and they have tons of historic and recreated buildings. Today we are at the old Cowtown museum, so we'll be following the guide throughout the museum. They say it will take about 2 hours to walk the whole thing.
Now it's 10:30. We'll see whether it will really take 2 hours.
I really like how they recreated this town area so nicely. And apparently some of the buildings like houses were actual houses donated to the museum. What I really like about this open air museum is that you really get to experience what it's like rather than just reading a bunch of text. You get to see shops and things they sell in the past. For example, this room sells chairs and baby bassinets. This room sells miscellaneous tools like iron, food, baby toys, etc. And what we didn't expect is to see a mini farm here as well with an actual sheep. And apparently the wool of this sheep is the most expensive due to its quality.
The sheep tried to communicate with Trisha.
Get out. You can also try pumping out water from a well, but the water is dirty, so you can't drink it. It's just for you to play with. We also went into this room, which is like a vehicle shop where they sell different types of horse carriages. And you can also interact with a legit blacksmith, and apparently he actually does repair works for the museum. And then we also walked into this old school classroom setting, and somehow being in this classroom with the American flag makes me feel patriotic. For lunch, we came to Tanya's Soup Kitchen. They serve handcrafted soups and sandwiches. And this place has a unique system where you kind of order from the counter first before getting a seat. If not, you will be kicked out. So we ordered their mushroom soup and also Cindy the Boy, which is like ham, Swiss cheese, and apple chutney. And I quite like the food. I like the sweetness of the apple in the sandwich, but the bread was a bit too hard, so my jaws were tired from chewing. We then drove 2.5 hours to Oklahoma, and since we only shared like a soup and sandwich, we came to Pho Thuong restaurants for dinner. And I like pho, but I'm a huge fan of ban bo hui, which is spicy with lemongrass. I don't really know how to explain the taste, but it's good. And I think the reason why I like it a lot is because they used to mi fen instead of the typical pho noodles. It kind of tastes like tom yum soup because of the lemongrass, but it's just a different variation from that. And my husband got standard combination pho noodles, but I think we had better pho. The broth wasn't really flavorful enough. The next morning, we visited the Myriad Botanical Gardens. It reminds us of the Flower Dome back in Singapore. And the current theme for the garden is a Japanese theme with orchids. And I thought we could see tulips, but I think we came a few days too early, but there were some displays outside of the place. And I thought the place would be bigger. I even asked the receptionist for a map, but it's definitely not needed. Whatever you see here is the entire thing. For lunch, we went to Spark, which was close by to the botanical garden. It's kind of like Shake Shack style with burger, fries, milkshake, but we mainly went there to try their pink fries. So we got the Shaka Spark burger, which has sweet cheese, spiced pineapples, candied jalapenos, and we also got the heavily colored pink fries, which just tasted like cheese fries. We also visited the National Cowboy Museum. We initially didn't want to come here because we had already seen the Cowtown Museum, so we thought this would be similar. However, this place has more organized artifacts, and they showed a lot more like horse-related stuff, cowboy boots, and they even have an outdoor section. So this place is actually pretty huge. We came to Boomtown for some ice cream. I saw that they serve ice cream flight of 6, which sounded nice, so we went over for tea break. And this place has a lot of my favorite ice cream flavors like pistachio, Earl Grey, Biscoff, and they're also famous for cherry goat, where they used goat milk for it, but I don't like the goat aftertaste. And this is only the mini ice cream flight, which looks a lot, and honestly this is super worth it. Since we are deprived of a decent bakery place in Montgomery, we googled and found Link's Cakery, which sells crepe cakes. And I missed having crepe cakes from Lady M, so we went in and got ourselves a durian crepe cake. I was actually quite surprised to see this flavor. I even asked the guy if it's like real durian flesh, because if it's flavoring then I'm not gonna get it. And I might have been on a sugar rush that day because right beside Link's Cakery was Share Tea. So after having ice cream, crepe cake, we are now gonna get bubble tea, and we wanted something different from our usual order, so we chose taro milk tea. We are having Popeyes for dinner. This is sweet and spicy. This is garlic parmesan and coleslaw and unsweetened tea and our leftover bubble tea. We came home and picked up the cat from boarding school, so that's the end of our road trip to 4 different states. We have already visited 41 out of 50 states and we have 9 more to go, so see you guys in our next travel. Okay, bye!